Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most foundational and fascinating stories ever told. The creation of Adam and Eve, and the pivotal choices that shaped humanity. It's a tale filled with wonder, a little mystery, and some powerful lessons that are still super relevant today. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's unravel this incredible narrative together. Our story begins in a place of pure magic, a pristine paradise that could only be called the Garden of Eden. Imagine a world untouched, vibrant, and bursting with life. Here, God, the ultimate creator, began his masterpiece. He took the dust of the ground, molding it with incredible care, and from it, he formed the very first man, Adam. But he didn't stop there. God breathed his own life, his own essence into Adam, transforming dust into a living, breathing being. Think about that for a second, that spark of life directly from the Creator. Adam was then placed in this breathtaking Garden of Eden. It wasn't just pretty, it was perfect. Crystal clear rivers, majestic trees, all kinds of animals living in harmony. Adam had everything he could ever need. God gave him one crucial instruction. He could eat from any tree in the garden, feast on all its delicious fruits, except for one. This was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God warned him that eating from it would lead to death. It was a simple rule, but with immense implications. Now, God, ever wise, looked at Adam and saw something essential missing. Adam, for all his blessings, was alone. He needed a companion, someone to share this magnificent world with. So, in another incredible act of creation, God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. While Adam rested, God gently took one of his ribs and, from it, fashioned the first woman, Eve. Imagine Adam waking up, seeing Eve, and realizing he finally had a true partner, someone just like him, yet wonderfully unique. They were made for each other, to live in harmony, to take care of the garden, and simply enjoy life together in pure innocence and joy. What a beautiful beginning. Life was idyllic in Eden. Adam and Eve, happy and content, walked with God, enjoyed the fruits of the garden, and had no worries. But as with many good stories, a challenge was on the horizon. A serpent, cunning and deceptive, entered the garden. This wasn't just any snake. It was Satan in disguise, aiming to sow discord and doubt. The serpent approached Eve and, with sly words, questioned God's command. Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden? He began. Eve explained God's rule, emphasizing the warning about the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But the serpent wasn't finished. He twisted the truth, pouring poison into Eve's mind. You will not certainly die. For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. This was a powerful temptation, the allure of forbidden knowledge, the promise of becoming like God. Eve looked at the fruit. It seemed good for food, pleasing to the eye, and desirable for gaining wisdom. She made a choice. She ate the fruit. And then, in a moment that changed everything, she gave some to Adam, who was with her, and he also ate it. The choice was made. The immediate consequence wasn't physical death, but something just as profound. Their eyes were indeed opened, but not in the way they expected. Suddenly, they realized they were naked, and for the first time, they felt shame. That pure, innocent connection with God and each other was broken. They tried to cover themselves with fig leaves, and when they heard God walking in the garden, they hid. Imagine the weight of that moment, going from joyful communion to hiding in fear. God, knowing what had happened, called out to Adam, and when they finally confessed their disobedience, the consequences unfolded. They were heartbreaking, but also just. God explained that because of their actions, life would no longer be easy. Eve would experience pain in childbirth. Adam would have to toil and sweat, working hard to grow food from the ground, which would now produce thorns and thistles. The perfect harmony was gone. And then came the most difficult consequence. God expelled them from the Garden of Eden. This wasn't out of cruelty, but out of love and justice. He didn't want them to eat from the tree of life in their fallen state and live forever. In sin and separation from Him, it was a protection, preventing an eternal, painful existence. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? This story teaches us a powerful lesson about trust, obedience, and the ripple effects of our choices. Disobeying God, stepping outside His loving instructions, inevitably leads to consequences. Adam and Eve experienced hardship, pain, and separation from paradise. But here's the beautiful part, the silver lining in this ancient tale. Even in their disobedience, God didn't abandon them. He still showed them compassion. He made clothing for them, animal skins, to cover their shame, a symbol of His continued care and provision even as they left the garden. He never stopped loving them. This story isn't just about what happened back then. It's a timeless reminder that choosing to trust God and follow His guidance leads to life, peace, and true fulfillment. Even when we make mistakes, God's grace and love are still there, offering a path forward. It teaches us the importance of listening, discerning, and making wise choices, knowing that our actions have impact, but also that we serve a God of incredible compassion and second chances. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey through such an impactful story. I really hope this helped you understand it a little better. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our next deep dive. We love having you here. See you next time.